This video will be useful to you. I'll tell you about one of the most popular books in just 10 minutes. You won't have to read it completely. I've written down the most important thoughts from this book for you. This will be the first part, so let's get started. We're used to thinking that big results require big actions, a dramatic start, intense motivation, radical change. But the truth is, life doesn't change in a leap. It changes through accumulation. Every small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. One missed day doesn't decide anything. One right step is almost invisible. But if you repeat it daily, small actions begin to work like compound interest. Habits are not something you do occasionally. They are the system that shapes your reality. You don't see progress immediately. That's why most people quit. But those who understand the power of small steps stop chasing quick results and start building a process. And in the end, it's the process, not motivation, that creates success. Do you know what most people get wrong? We think big results require big actions, that we need a dramatic shift, a fresh start on Monday, a huge goal, maximum motivation. But the truth is, dramatic changes rarely last. In the first chapter, James Clear explains the simple but powerful idea. Small habits work like compound interest. Imagine improving just 1% each day. It feels insignificant. You don't notice a breakthrough, but if you keep going for a year, the results become extraordinary. The same works in reverse. Small negative decisions also compound. A skipped workout, an extra hour on your phone, a postponed decision. In the moment, it seems harmless. Over time, it becomes your reality. And here's the key. In the beginning, progress is invisible. You put in effort, you try, and nothing seems to change. Most people quit at this stage. Clear calls this the valley of disappointment. It's the phase where the work has started, but the results haven't appeared yet. But habits are always accumulating, and eventually there's a breakthrough, not because you suddenly changed, but because the accumulation finally became visible. The core message of this chapter is simple. Success is not a single event. It's a trajectory built from small, repeated actions. You don't change your life in one day. You change it with what you do every day. Let me tell you something that sounds controversial at first. Goals don't change your life, systems do. We've been taught to obsess over goals, set a target, visualize success, focus on the outcome. But here's the problem. Winners and losers often have the same goals. Every athlete in the Olympics wants to win gold. Every entrepreneur wants a successful business. Every student wants good grades. If goals were enough, everyone would succeed. The real difference is not the goal, it's the system behind it. A goal is the result you want, a system is the process you follow every day. Goals are about the future, systems are about what you do right now. And here's the danger of focusing only on goals. When you achieve one, you relax. When you fail, you feel discouraged. In both cases, progress stops. But when you focus on a system, on the daily routine, the structure, the habits, you keep moving regardless of temporary outcomes. True improvement happens when you commit to the process, not the prize. If you want to get in shape, don't focus on losing 20 pounds. Focus on becoming the type of person who never skips workouts. If you want to build wealth, don't obsess over a number in your bank account. Build a system of consistent investing and disciplined spending. Goals set direction, but systems create progress. And the people who win long-term, they fall in love with the process. Let me share the most powerful idea in this book. Real change doesn't start with what you want. It starts with who you believe you are. Most people try to change their results. Some focus on changing their habits, but almost nobody focuses on changing their identity. And that's the core mistake. If you say, I want to run a marathon, that's an outcome. If you say, I want to run 3 times a week, that's a habit. And that's the core mistake. But if you say, I am becoming a runner, that's identity. And identity is what makes change stick. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. When you read a page, you cast a vote for becoming a reader. When you train, you cast a vote for becoming disciplined. When you save money, you cast a vote for becoming financially responsible. One vote won't define you, but repeated votes build evidence. And once your identity shifts, your habits stop feeling like effort. They become a reflection of who you are. The problem is, most people try to build habits that conflict with their identity. They say, I'm bad with money, and then try to invest. They say, I'm not disciplined, and then try to wake up at 5 a.m. But your brain always acts in alignment with your self-image. So the real strategy is this. Don't focus on what you want to achieve. Focus on who you want to become. Ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? What would a confident person do? What would a disciplined person do? Then act accordingly, even in small ways. Because habits don't just build results, they build identity. And once you become the type of person who does the right things, success is no longer something you chase. It's something you naturally express. Now let's talk about how habits actually work. Because once you understand the mechanism, you stop relying on willpower and you start using strategy. Every habit follows the same 4-step loop. Cue, craving, response, reward. First, there's a cue, a trigger. Something in your environment signals your brain that it's time to act. You see your phone light up. You walk into the kitchen. You feel stressed after work. That's the cue. Then comes the craving, not for the habit itself, but for the change in state it promises. You don't crave the cigarette, you crave relief. You don't crave scrolling, you crave distraction. Next is the response, the actual behavior. You smoke, you scroll, you eat, you work out. And finally, the reward, the satisfaction, the relief, the pleasure. If the reward feels good, your brain remembers the loop, and that's how habits get wired. The key insight here is this: habits are not about asking one question. If the answer is yes, the habit strengthens. If the answer is no, it fades. So instead of blaming yourself for lack of motivation, understand the structure. Make the crave act easy, make the reward sating them. Let's talk about the first law of behavior change. Make it obvious. Most of our habits are not conscious decisions. They're automatic reactions to our environment. You don't randomly decide to check your phone. It lights up. It's on your desk. It's within reach. That's the trigger. And here's the powerful truth. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your motivation ever will. If you want to build a new habit, don't rely on willpower. Design your environment so the right action becomes the obvious action. If you want to read more, put the book on your pillow. If you want to work out, prepare your clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthier, put healthy food where you can see it. Visibility creates action. James Clear also talks about something called implementation intention. Instead of saying, I'll work out more, you say, I will work out at 7 a.m. in my living room. Specific time, specific place. Clarity eliminates hesitation. Another powerful strategy is habit stacking. You attach a new habit to an existing one. After I pour my morning coffee, I will read 1 page. After I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. You're not creating a habit from scratch. You're anchoring it to something that already happens. The big idea here is simple. Good habits need clear signals. If the cue is invisible, the habit won't happen. So don't try to be more motivated. Be more intentional with your environment. Because when the right choice is obvious, discipline becomes almost unnecessary. Let me tell you why most habits fail. It's not because people are lazy. It's not because they lack motivation. It's because they're vague. We say things like, I'll start eating better. I'll exercise more. I'll read more books. But more is not a strategy. It's a wish. And wishes don't create behavior. In this chapter, the key idea is simple. Be specific. Your brain doesn't respond well to track goals. It responds to clear instructions. Instead of saying, I'll work more, say, I will go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Instead of saying, I'll read more, say, I will read 10 pages every night before bed. Specific time, specific place, specific action. When you remove ambiguity, you remove resistance. Because most procrastination isn't about effort, it's about uncertainty. Your brain hesitates when it doesn't know exactly what to do. But when the decision is already made, execution becomes automatic. Clear also emphasizes planning ahead. Don't wait until you feel like it, decide in advance. If it's on the calendar, it's real. If it's scheduled, it's harder to ignore. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't is often not talent, it's clarity. Be precise, define the behavior, lock it into time and space. Because when your habit is specific, you don't negotiate with yourself, you just act. Let me challenge something most of us believe. We think success comes from motivation, from willpower, from wanting it badly enough. But here's the truth. Motivation is unreliable. Environment is powerful. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your environment. Think about it. If junk food is on your kitchen counter, you'll eat it. If your phone is next to your bed, you'll scroll. If your gym is on the way home, you're more likely to train. Behavior is often a reaction to what's around you, not a reflection of your character. We like to believe we're in control, but most daily actions are automatic responses to visible cues. If you want to write, create a workspace where writing is the easiest thing to do. If you want to focus, remove distractions before you start. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on resisting temptation. Remove temptation. Make bad habits invisible. Make good habits visible. That's the shift. The people who seem disciplined often just have better designed environments. They're not stronger. They've reduced friction. And when the right choice is the easiest choice, you don't need heroic motivation. You just follow the path that's already there. Change your environment, and your behavior will follow. Let's talk about what really drives your behavior. It's not logic, it's not long-term thinking, it's dopamine. Most people think the pleasure chemical, but that's not entirely true. Dopamine spikes before the reward, not after. It rises in anticipation. That means you don't act because of the reward itself. You act because you expect the reward. And that expectation, that craving is what powers habits. Think about checking your phone. The notification sound is the cue, but the real driver is anticipation. Who messaged me? What did I miss? Is there something exciting waiting? And doom you to act. The same mechanism works for good habits. If you want to exercise consistently, you need to make it attractive. If you want to read more, you need to associate reading with something enjoyable. Clear explains that the more attractive an opportunity appears, the more likely it is to become a habit. So instead of forcing yourself, engineer anticipation. Pair a habit you need to do with something you want to do. So instead of forcing yourself, engineer anticipation. Pair a habit you need to do with something you want to do. Listen to your favorite podcast only at the gym. Drink your favorite coffee only while working on your project. This creates what's called temptation bundling. Now, the habit isn't just discipline, it becomes desirable. Because here's the reality, your brain is why a habit feels boring and painful, you'll resist it. If it feels attractive, you'll repeat it. So the lesson is simple. Don't fight dopamine. Use it. Make good habits exciting. Make bad habits unattractive. Because behavior follows desire, and desire is driven by anticipation. Let me tell you something uncomfortable, but true. You don't choose your habits alone. Your environment matters, but your social environment matters even more. We like to think we're independent, that our decisions are personal, but the truth is, we imitate the people around us. We copy the habits of three groups in particular: the close, the many, and the powerful. First, the close. Your friends, your family, your coworkers. If they value fitness, you're more likely to train. If they complain about money, you're more likely to struggle financially. If they read, build, grow, you'll start doing the same. Because belonging is stronger than logic. Second, the many. We follow the crowd. The people who seem disciplined often just have better designed environments. They're not stronger, they've reduced friction. We want to fit in. It's wired into us. And third, the powerful. We imitate people we admire. Successful founders, athletes, leaders. If someone you respect promotes a behavior, it instantly becomes more attractive. Here's the key insight. One of the fastest ways to change your habits is to change your tribe. Join a group where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. If you want to write, be around writers. If you want to invest, be around investors. If you want to build discipline, surround yourself with disciplined people. Because when a behavior helps you belong, it becomes automatic. You won't need constant motivation. You'll act because it feels natural. So choose your circle carefully. Because over time, you don't just adapt to your environment, you become it.